Now, vote counting has begun in Lesotho. The Mountain Kingdom held its parliamentary elections yesterday. They could see the ruling party lose power after years of political instability. The All Lesotho Convention, which has run the country since 2017, is beset by divisions. Defections have since left the ABC vulnerable to its opposition rivals, the Democratic Congress and the New Revolution for Prosperity. Now, for the latest on the election, I'm joined by Silence Charumbira, Deputy Editor at the Lesotho Times. Silence, very good afternoon. Thanks so much for speaking to us today. Just give us a sense of the mood in Maseru and certainly other areas that you might have been to since yesterday's election.
Well, today it's pretty much life back as usual for most folks, but you come across a few gatherings for one of the major parties in the which was contesting the elections, the RFP. They are pretty much celebrating. Indications are that according to their own command center, they are likely to snatch it, or rather, they are likely to register a landslide victory in this polls.
So I'd imagine that numbers have started coming in. Do you have an idea of what they're looking like at the moment?
So far, we have 7 constituencies that have been announced. 6 of those 7 were in the hands of the ABC, and all 7 have gone to the RFP.
Wow.
So it pretty much gives you an impression of what the situation is like.
Now, talk to us about the turnout. Now, over the last few elections, we have witnessed voter apathy of sorts, if you will. Those numbers have continued to come down. What was it like yesterday?
That's very true, Hugo. Voter apathy has almost always been a problem in Lesotho. But yesterday and today, I've spoken to mainly the RFP, and they've been saying like the biggest advantage that they've had in these polls has been the new voters and the youths. These are groups, rather the youths are a group that never really usually votes. These are people who will attend rallies, who participate in all pomp and fanfare, but they will not be there at the ballot. But in this time around, the youths were present. They were all over the place. They went to the polling stations early and voted early. So I think that is one of the biggest issues to take away from this election.
Well, you've talked about 7 constituencies, I think, that you've said have come through. What is the total number that you are expecting? And I suppose the second question would be around the Revolution for Prosperity. Is that the party that was targeting the youth vote in particular?
Yes. So we are expecting a total of 80 constituencies. So and so far the permutations coming from the RFP indicate that they could be in the region of the 60s, but mind you, this is unofficial. It hasn't been confirmed by the IEC so far. But you are right to say the RFP is one of the parties that was angling on getting voters from among the youths as well as the BAP, but the BAP hasn't fared as well as the RFP so far.
And a final question, Silence. Was this a peaceful election? Do you get the impression that it was free and fair?
Free and fair is difficult to determine for now because you obviously want to hear what the contesting parties will want to say. But from what we have been observing, the elections were largely that we witnessed were to do with the voters' roll that had deficiencies. Several people went to polling stations having confirmed that they are supposed to be voting at those particular polling stations, but when they got there, their names were not on the voters' roll. So a bulk of those people turned back home. A few who were resilient had to continue searching until they found the stations at which they were supposed to vote and eventually voted.
Silence Charumbira, Deputy Editor of the Lesotho Times, appreciate your time this afternoon.